Hi, my name's Andrea and I'm with ZSK Machines here in the United States. And in this video, we are going to talk about the tubular arm configuration for the ZSK embroidery machine, specifically the Sprint model. Here I have the tubular arms, and this is a whole piece that we do have to change out whenever we want to switch from the caps, which our machine is in right now, to tubular items such as finished goods. With this, I just want to show you here that on this bracket we have two arms, these two arms right here, and this is where a hoop clips into. Because we have different hoop sizes and hoop styles, this bracket does have the ability to move and move the arms from one position to another. And we will see that with the smaller hoops, you want it in the tighter position, and with the larger hoops, you do want to move it out just to the outside notches right here, and then we can fit our hoops, our larger hoops, within that configuration as well. You can do this while this piece is on the machine, or you can do it before you put it onto the machine itself. So in showing you that the tubular arms can be in two different positions, I'll also show you the hoops, whether they are aftermarket hoops or factory hoops, that can fit inside those two different arm configurations. First of all, we have a smaller hoop, and you can see that these brackets here, right here and right here, will fit into that clip on the tubular arms. And that can actually be different in size depending upon what hoop you're using. From aftermarket hoops to hoops that are included with your machine, you can see that even on this large jacket back hoop, my hoop is so wide that I do need to configure the tubular arms to have the arms on the outside so that I can accommodate for these brackets and I can have that larger field. So you can see as I try to line up these brackets, they don't quite fit, and you can see why we would need to change the arms from the inside to the outside. So this is just an idea of why this is happening and why we would need to change it. You can see I have my third example here. This is an aftermarket hoop. This is a magnetic mighty hoop, and you can see the arms or the brackets are quite wide, so we would need that arm configuration all the way on the outside. When we change over from caps to tubular, meaning finished goods, we do have to exchange the cap driver for this arm configuration here. And what we see here is we have two Allen screws along with washers. This will actually slip into the notches on the machinery, on the pantograph, on the back of the pantograph. But first, before we go to the machine, I just want to show you what I talked about earlier with these brackets right here and how we can take them and move them to a larger position so that we could accommodate for a larger hoop. First of all, and actually for these Allens as well as these 4 Allens, 2 on this side, 2 on that side, I will take my number 3 Allen and I will go ahead and loosen these screws. Now, when we are moving things around and configuring them to meet our hoop needs, what we need to make sure of is that things aren't going to be screwed on we need to make sure things aren't going to be screwed on at an angle or anything like that. So it is nice to have the hoop available so that you can, so you can make sure that things are going to fit properly. So after taking out the Allens, you can now see that my bracket is by itself. I can then move it to the outside. And you will also see here that it looks a little bit like a triangle. You always want the straight end on the outside. You wouldn't want it over here on this side. So make sure of that, and what I'm going to do is take these little Allens along with the washer, make sure that the washer goes down on top of the bracket. You can see right here, and I am just going to hand tighten them. And the reason I'm hand tightening them is because, like I said, you could potentially put it on crooked. So I'll go ahead and loosen these up. And if you do need to use the number 3 Allen key, we'll move it all the way to the outside. you can absolutely do so. But I'll go ahead and take that, and you can see, again, I'm just hand tightening it in case I need to make any changes whatsoever. You can see there is a little bit of movement in there in case, again, I need to make any changes. So I can now take that hoop, make sure that it's going to slide right in there, and make sure I don't need to change anything. So I'll just slide this side in, along with this side, as I make sure that they fit into the notches. I make sure that that's fit, and then I will further tighten them. Now you don't want to tighten them too tight to where you cannot loosen them in case you need to go back, but you just want it tight enough to hold that hoop and make it secure. So we'll just hand tighten it, again, not too tight to where you're going to twist and warp the Allen key, but just to make sure that they're not going to go anywhere and offset on that hoop. So we can do that, again, we can do that on the machine, or we can do it before we put this whole configuration on. After I am done adjusting it, I'm going to go ahead and take the hoop out. I'll just go ahead and lift it on out of there, and then take that over to the machine to put it on. So now we're at the machine, and currently the machine has the cap driver on. We want to remove the cap driver, and we have 4 thumb screws that we need to remove, and then we will put the arm configuration on. Now in order to put the arm configuration on, you do need the 3mm Allen, and that's the only tool that we need. First things first, we need to remove the cap driver, and to do that we have the 2 winged thumb screws down here, and I will just go ahead and loosen it, and as we loosen it we can see that it starts to drop down. Now you don't want to take them all the way out, there's no need for it, you just need to loosen it so it can slide out. Then we take the top 2 thumb screws, and I'll go ahead and loosen those as well to where you feel that it's loose enough that we can just simply slide it out. Now as we slide it out, we need to make sure that these thumb screws won't hit the back of the head here where the catcher is, and we will go ahead and tilt it a little bit and go ahead and pull that out. Now with the cap driver we can just store it just by flipping it back this way, laying it on its back on our shelf if we'd like. So I'll go ahead and put that down, and next I'll go ahead and take the arm configuration. Now again we need to make sure that these Allens are loose so that we can actually put it in these forks right here. One thing I do want to point out is that when we do go from cap to flat or tubular, we do have this needle plate insert that we change. We've already changed it to the tubular / flat needle plate, but if you do need to know how to do that, please reference the video that shows you how to change that needle plate insert, because usually with a cap you want a raised needle plate. So on to the arm configuration. Before we saw that we did move the brackets all the way out, so if you do need to move them in, you can do this again while the arm configuration is on the machine. I'll go ahead, again we want to make sure that we're not going to hit the needle, so I'll just tilt it a little bit. I'll go ahead and slide these Allens in. Make sure the washer is on the top here, on the forks. So I'm just going to hold this, take my Allen, and simply screw it down. Now I do want to make sure that it is going to be up all the way against the back of those forks, and we want to make sure that it's tight enough to where it's not going to slip out. One nice thing about this is that because of this open back frame system on this machine, we can, after we kind of hand tighten these, we can move the frame to the back, get to the back behind the machine, and actually tighten it through the back if we'd like. Here I'm just going to show you through here. And again, I hand tighten this. I want to make sure that it is all the way back, and then I'll go ahead and take that Allen and secure We're securing it down, making sure that we're not going to have any movement. You want to make sure that your brackets are not going to move anywhere. And now we're actually ready to do tubular embroidery.